Hi, it's Keith Townsend from the CTOadvisor.com with another look at the Microsoft Surface Book. I've had it for about a month, so it's a good time to take a follow-up to my last video. And plus, a few of you wanted to get a little bit more of a practical look at the device, so we'll take a little bit more practical look at the device. So, additive to my last video and the last review of the Surface Book, let's get out the kind of mechanical stuff right off the bat. From a practical perspective, electronic eject of the tablet can be a little bit inconvenient because sometimes I just want to take off the tablet before the device is powered up, which means that I have to practically wait until the device has gotten to the point where the BIOS recognizes the eject button. If you notice, when I hit the eject button before the device is powered up, I get a red light. I don't get the green light until quite some time. And then once the device is in tablet mode, I've used it in tablet mode a little bit. I've found it to be less than an iPad experience. So this device most definitely isn't an iPad, so to speak. And I think the main issue, even comparing it to the iPad Pro, is that the interface is designed for a mouse and keyboard primarily, and touch is a secondary thought. That I can deal with. The bigger issue is the size. So similar to the iPad Pro, having a 13-inch plus tablet can be impractical. It's just too heavy. I have pretty big hands, and I find it pretty tough to use this device with one hand. It is heavy. After reading a book for a while, you find that you most definitely have to go two-handed, and you have to go from the landscape mode to portrait mode, because holding it in portrait, it gets to be heavy pretty quick. Feels a little awkward in the hands. So holding it in landscape, I found it the best way. The other kind of, it's a complaint, I would say, is the virtual keyboard. One, with traditional tablet, you can use your thumbs pretty much, especially if you have bigger hands like mine. So you can use your thumb to do two-handed keyboarding while holding the tablet. That's not practical with the Surface. So you're going to do one-handed keyboard use. And the other thing that I've noticed, or you have to lay it flat and use the keyboard as you would a virtual keyboard or a physical keyboard, and this doesn't make for a great physical keyboard. The other thing that I noticed is that there's no autocorrect. So when I'm using it to do things such as send tweets, it's just an annoyance. With the iPad, it automatically capitalizes the first letter of a sentence. If you hit space twice, the iPad will end with a period. So those useful features are not available on a Surface Book, and I find myself basically not being able to type as fast and missing punctuation and capitalization in some tweets and messages. So back to the physical layout of the device. Another interesting feature is laying the keyboard, putting this guy into the tablet mode to get the extra battery life. The overall extra weight of this makes this extremely impractical. You're not going to use it as a tablet in this mode, not at all. This is most definitely going to be a device that you sit on the table and then use it with the pencil. So let's talk about the pencil a little bit. The pencil is it's great, I guess, from a look and feel. The couple of things that I like, that if you click the eraser once, OneNote automatically pops up, and you're able to instantly take notes. The pen is pretty responsive. The eraser works as you would expect. You double click. Actually, let's do something that's practical. So bring up a web browser. if we double click, we can capture the screen, and it automatically cuts and pastes whatever you copied into OneNote. I found that to be actually pretty functional. It's especially when I do content, it's really great to be able to capture the screen easily and then insert it into the document that's in the clipboard so I can copy and paste. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is the finger response on the touchscreen. It's taking me some time to get used to it. I'm not quite used to it. I'm not sure when I need to double tap versus single tap versus long hold. Give you an example, if I wanted to go to a site and I mistyped the site and I want to select this text to copy and paste, on the iPad I long hold this and I get a copy and paste screen. On here, I get a right-click screen option. I can select all, and then I have to, I don't know if I'll hold again. Then I copy. And then alternately, I can click with 2 fingers, and that's the equivalent of right-clicking, but I haven't really gotten that great yet. I think one of the problems is that the targets on this screen is too small for a 2-finger click, and the text too sharp or too small. One of the disadvantages of having a high-resolution screen is that the text can be really small, and editing that text with your fingers can practically be a challenge. Another, and I think this is by far, all of the things that I've talked about have been things that have been just adjustments. My biggest complaint, however, is the responsiveness of the touchpad. The thing has frustrated me to no end. The MacBook Pro's touchpad for touchpads is a great touchpad. I'm not a fan of touchpads. If there's a little nib, I prefer using a little nib versus using a touchpad in general. I'm not a huge fan of the touchpad, but this touchpad in particular frustrates me. It can be a little bit less than responsive at times. I had to get used to using the lower right hand corner to right click. I disabled that. I now do a 2-finger tap, and this is really interesting. The 2-finger tap is space sensitive. So if my fingers are too close together, the right click doesn't work. It has to be a little bit separated, and the right click works. It took me some time to figure that out. So some of my frustration is just coming from being a MacBook Pro user for so long, and some of the frustration is brought from just the responsiveness of the tablet. The saving factor is that the screen is a touch screen. So when the tablet frustrates me, I can just reach up and touch the screen to close windows or do whatever it was I was trying to do with the touchscreen. One of the challenges was if I was going to use an SD card and put the SD card into the expansion slot as a extension of the default memory. I have my Bluetooth mouth receiver into a USB port, and then SD card really sticks out. So trying to put that in and out of a suitcase or briefcase or your standard 13-inch laptop case, that would be pretty hard usage. So I'm going to look into an specially made SD card that's a low profile SD card that takes away this problem for both MacBooks and the Surface Book Pro. That's it for my extended review of the Surface Book. Follow me on Twitter at CTO Advisor. Visit the blog where we talk about CTO and architecture level enterprise issues at thectoadvisor.com. Talk to you guys next video. Thanks.